We're on your side tonight with big changes likely coming to North Carolina education. Republican lawmakers in Raleigh have come to an agreement on a bill that would drastically expand the state's school voucher program. Simplified, it would make all North Carolina parents, regardless of income, eligible to receive state money so their children can attend a private school. One of the primary sponsors is Tricia Cotham. She is the longtime Mecklenburg County Democrat who just recently switched to Republican, a move that gave the GOP supermajority control of the General Assembly.
This is a great day in North Carolina. We have solid support from both chambers, and this is a movement that we are seeing all across the country, and especially in North Carolina, where families want options because they want the best for their child. This bill will expand eligibility for everyone in our state.
Cotham's support and party switch virtually ensure some form of this bill is going to pass. Democratic Governor Roy Cooper wouldn't have the votes to sustain a veto. So we want to give you the details of what's being discussed here. First, the state's been offering what are called opportunity scholarship vouchers really since 2014. Low-income families are eligible to receive up to 90% of what the state allocates in per pupil spending. So right now the max scholarship is about $6,500. But keep in mind that's a sliding scale. If you make a little more, you get a little less. Now this chart here shows you how the number of students using a voucher has gone up over those years. 1,200 back in 2015, all the way up to 24,000 this year. And those increases have meant more taxpayer money going into the program. In 2014, about $4 million was spent on scholarships. It was $133 million this year. And that number is about to explode. In the next decade, it would go north of $500 million, $520 million. It's because of the change in the income requirements. Low-income families will still get first dibs here. A family of 4 making less than about $55,000 a year will be eligible for a full voucher. Those earning up to $111,000 will get a 90% voucher. If you make up to $250,000, you can get a 60% voucher. And if you're above $250,000, you can still get money. You get 45% of a scholarship, which in that case would be close to $3,000. Cotham, a one-time opponent to school choice programs, explained her conversion.
And I did my due diligence as a parent and as a mama, and went to our public school, which is a great public school, and then went to visit the private schools in Charlotte, and I was blown away. And so my son does go to private school, and that's where my policy really started to change, because as a policymaker and as a mom, I'm also not a hypocrite. And so I do believe that as policymakers and legislators, if you're sending your own child, and if we have our ability to send our children to private school or to a charter, then we cannot say to others, well, you can't.
Governor Cooper, many Democrats against the expansion. They don't like the idea of money going to wealthy families, money that could go to improve all schools. Also, they're worried about money going to private schools that in some cases don't accept kids with different beliefs. There are also questions of accountability. Lawmakers were asked, will there be increased scrutiny for those accepting the state's money?
We're not funding schools, we're funding children. There are a list of metrics within the statute, they've been there for quite some time, as to what has to be reported, the nationally normed tests. I mean, there are a number of accountability metrics set in place. However, having said that, the final accountability of the education of any student is the student and their family. And unfortunately, that accountability is stripped away from them.
This coming expansion of school vouchers also comes at a time when the courts have said the state has underfunded public education by hundreds of millions of dollars over the years. That battle, the so-called Leandro case, has been dragging on for years now. Along those lines, we did get this statement from CMS today, which opposes the bill. The statement says, we are in a time when public school systems are facing critical shortages in teachers, bus drivers, school nurses, and other critical employees. The statement goes on to say, we don't believe the General Assembly should expand the state's voucher program and divert more funds away from the 1.5 million students in North Carolina's public schools. Public funds should be spent on our public school systems that so desperately need these funds. We'll keep following that story for you, let you know where it goes.